Good evening and good afternoon, fellow people. You're joining us on Nerdin' Out. We have our fellow friends here, Evan and Nathanael.
Hello. How are you doing?
There are three of us. There are also 3 Ks in KKK. We are going to talk on the most white podcast. No.
Wow.
We're talking about representation. In
Where
video
are you
games.
going with that?
That's where
Good
we're going.
Lord, that was the...
I was worried that you weren't going to break character. I'm like, how do I follow this?
Where do I go?
How do I track this back?
It's like I would steal the punchline, but I don't think there is one.
It's like when you drive. A conversation is like a drive. People just hop behind the wheel indeterminately. And he hopped behind the wheel, and we're on a straight road. He hopped behind the wheel and just went, like, whipped the wheel to the left. We're going off a cliff. I'm like...
And then it's like, I'm going to drive this with my feet.
Yeah. I'm like, I could throw it in reverse. But it won't help. Slow the inevitable death.
I can pull up on the e-brake.
Yeah. There's no e-brake. It's gone. It came off as soon as we
It fell
crest off
through with
the hill.
the transmission.
Yeah.
There's no steering wheel. There's just a button that says go.
There's no airbags either.
Oh no. Well,
Anyway.
I was gonna say it's like welcome Winston Churchill.
Why then?
The way you opened it.
Welcome. Today, we're doing one of my favorite kind of... We have nothing to fear except racism itself.
Nothing
I'd say,
to
David.
A fitting follow-up to Nathaniel's.
So David, you...
I am very not white.
So you were talking about this being your favorite what?
This is one of my favorite structures of podcast.
That's where we
don't give a damn about structure.
It is the...
It's the structure is when we give the middle finger to structure.
The house in which we build this conversation is that of jello and pudding, only moving amongst our feet as we float across the river of anonymity. Yes.
Wow, very, very, very well
What a
put,
poet.
sir.
Thank you. I'll be here all week.
Gosh, you are
Have the yams.
All right, let's do some spoken word.
craftsman of words.
Piping hot.
What is spoken words?
Where you speak words.
Pompous. Chick-a-blick. No, I'm not going to do what?
Anti-disestablishmentarianism.
What?
I love that word. It is so good.
Wasn't it?
That's
It used to be the
literally
longest word.
Oh my gosh.
That's a stupid job. Okay,
Creating words?
okay. Your fiance Lotta is a saint for more than one reason. That she's both bilingual, but also that one of the language she learned is the stupidest language on earth, which is English.
English, yeah.
Is because
I was wondering where you were
Here's the
going to go
thing,
with that
no.
one, but okay.
So-
As someone with an English degree, I can say it is the most freaking stupid language of all time.
Nathaniel, as someone with a degree,
Yes.
what other languages do they have where people are literally assigned to make new words? None. Germany hasn't come up with new words in years.
Oh.
Neither about Spanish.
The
Literally, we are the only ones who decide to make more words every year for no reason.
Elvish from Lord of the Rings.
Elvish.
Because that was made up.
A fictitious language.
So the only other
We
language...
are the only language that's just like, oh, let's just make an even longer word to say something shorter. Why? That's why.
Because we're Americans. We like to make things complicated.
Anyhow.
Also, that's like steal every other language's words.
Exactly. Let's just have derivatives of every
And then
other.
take
What's
out
weird
letters.
is that we steal so many words, you'd think we don't need to make any more words because we just take other people's words.
Oh no, but it's like hamburgers. We didn't exactly invent it, but we're gonna make it super popular by overusing it to death. That's
And
the kind of
they're going to
structure.
be gigantic.
Yeah.
And greasy.
Huge. It's gonna be huge. It's
gonna
the
be
best
huge.
one you've ever seen.
It's the
best.
best burgers ever. And I promise.
Someone has the bingo board for our podcast. It's a drinking game. At least one Donald Trump impressions, one on the squares.
There's probably half the podcast is just like, it's going to be huge.
It's gonna be huge.
It's gonna be huge.
Fantastic.
It's gonna be the best.
It should be great.
It's going to be the tiniest you've ever seen.
Take a shot every time I do an impression of Donald Trump.
And you have to watch all the podcasts. in
All of them
sequence.
in row.
So, Evan, what's our topic today? I kind
Topic.
of like spilled it a little bit, but not.
Yeah, it's okay. It's not that much.
Bizarre.
So this is more of just kind of like a loose back and forth conversation about the topic of diversity in video games.
Diversity and
In the veggie game.
representation.
Yes, diversity
Video games
in
specifically?
representations. Video games specifically, but we can branch out into other things if we if you have an example of something else. But
Yeah.
So I like I don't have an opinion either way. It's just more just kind of like sharing observations that we've had through just like our time playing video games and things like that. So you guys,
Yes.
do you see companies trying to make more of an effort to show like racial diversity or like gender diversity in video games, or do you think that it's more about just telling a story and not really caring about like who's at the center of it?
I guess in the sense that it's come a lot longer than it used to be.
Come a lot further.
Yes. Yeah. English degree.
Speaking of English,
It worked.
grammar is also a thing.
Also why I hate English. No.
Como se dice further? That's how do you say further?
Further in Spanish. There you go.
Yeah.
They say cancer in Spanish.
I think a lot of cancer in Spanish.
El cancer.
Okay.
All right, sorry.
I think in video games, the medium and the demographic really kind of determined the demographics they use in the games. Because I feel like a lot of why games were popular is because the demographic they were kind of appealing to was the typical, mostly, I want to say mostly
You don't have to be scared to say it.
mostly boys, but of like recent, I mean, shoot, you got Last of Us, Tomb Raider. There's so many different games where it not only on the gender spectrum but on the racial spectrum where you've gotten way more diversity and way more variety in that sense too.
Yeah, like
And,
you got Infamous, Second Son, Native American. Delsin is Native American. He, like even like culturally, not just his ancestry. Like they actually play into that. What else do we got? Crackdown. We have a African American. I don't like using African American, but African American protagonist.
Yeah.
And then you got Terry Crews in there, which that's a whole nother gender right there.
Infamous 1, the main character of Infamous 1 was African American too. Forget his name.
Who?
Infamous, the first one. It's a Infamous
Cole?
Second Son. Cole.
Second Son, but the first Infamous he was white.
Was he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say
He was bald and white.
he was a
Shows how much I pay attention.
What's the transporter's name? The actor's name?
Jason Statham.
Yeah, he's a Jason Statham looking motherfucker.
He was also very generic and had no personality.
Yeah.
But there's also like a lot of supporting roles as well. I think Naughty Dog is one of the biggest. Naughty Dog, Telltale, now that they don't exist, I want to say
EA.
I don't know. Let's go with Rockstar. Why not? No, not Rockstar. Okay. They have a lot of white characters.
They do.
And again, we don't have like anything against white people.
No.
We love all people.
It's more of an observation because it's interesting how different franchises kind of branch along a specific kind, like Fallout.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see if Fallout would use a non-white protagonist.
Yeah, I don't think that was an option in Fallout 4.
Yeah.
But a lot of like create a character also has a lot of different options for like gender and race and all that. But those companies I mentioned, they have a lot of inclusivity with race and gender, especially race, where it makes sense.
Yeah.
It's not just like, well, this character is Hispanic because we needed a Hispanic character.
Right.
And it's just,
Right.
that's like a huge issue I have with a lot of media and movies and stuff. It's
Making them a certain race for the sake of making them that race.
Filling the race bingo card, as they say.
exactly. And they're like, oh, well, we have an Asian character.
Yeah.
And it's like,
It's like, good for you. Why?
like-
Yeah.
What does that bring to the story?
Right.
Oh,
It's-
nothing. He's just Asian. It's like,
Like, all right.
and then there's the other side where it's like,
You do you.
Oh, we have a movie set in Asia. They're all white. It's like the main characters are white, and it's just like that doesn't make sense. And they're like people who were like born in that country in the movie,
Yeah.
or like Avatar, where it's just like they're not at all
Yeah.
the race they're supposed
don't
to be.
even get me started on that movie. Yeah, but
Or
okay.
The Last Airbender, it is not Avatar.
Oh yeah. So do you think you've seen like video games branching out and being more or less diverse when it comes to race and gender?
By far more.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
just to kind of go back to Last of Us, I mean, just the trailer for the second one. I mean, not to go on the bingo sheet like we were talking about earlier, but yeah, you hit as many, I mean, races and genders as possible, and not that that's a bad thing. It's nice to see because then it's not cut and paste It's different in a good way.
The thing about like The Last of Us is that it's supposed to be set in like a future like post-apocalyptic world.
Yeah.
That's like reflective of reality.
Yeah.
And it's like in the United States. So it makes sense that I mean we're the melting pot. Then there's so many races and it makes sense that there to be a variety. It's not just like they're all white or all black.
And it should be said that a lot of franchises in video games, the setting is the most important part. And
Right.
I remember a while ago, a lot of complaints came on why Link is a white character. It's like, no, you don't understand. Link's a Hyrulean person. There's no race.
He's a Hylian.
There's no race in Legend of Zelda. It's their own like. Oh, what do you guys say about the Gorons then? Like, you know, it's amusing to see people pick things apart and kind of over observe these things, and it's a blessing and a curse for video games.
So do you guys think that political correctness now can be and how like sensitive some people can be, not everyone, but just how sensitive some people can be now? Do you think that would ruin, you know, their experience playing video games now?
Yeah, especially on the sense that it's almost stifling for a video game to not at least, like we said, hit the bingo sheet, because there's going to be something missing that someone will complain about.
Yeah.
If there's anything to complain about, they will complain about it. So
Yeah, any small thing is just like taken way out of proportion. But then there's the other side where if there's certain video games that if you try to insert like a woman into a certain role or like a character that's a different race, people are like, that's not historically accurate. That's impossible. And it's like for example, Battlefield 5 is, I think it's set during Vietnam, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So they had female soldiers, I believe, in a certain role, and there was a huge like outrage about it, and people were like up in arms saying like, oh, women can never be in that role. At that time, it's just not historically accurate. Blah 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 blah, and like other stuff.
It's like it's a video game, so who cares?
Exactly. They were like, it's supposed to be historical and accurate, and it's like, you know, the
It's a video
developers.
game.
It's first off, it's fictional. It's a video game, and the developers never said it was supposed to be like 100% historical.
Now I would understand if a developer advertised it as being historically accurate,
Right.
and then something like that happened where it wasn't historically accurate. I can understand people getting kind of like, okay, well that's not historically accurate. I don't understand people getting upset about it because that's like, okay, well. Okay, like again, it's a video game. You know, take your panties out of your butt crack, right? And it's like it's not that big a deal. So, but okay. So do you think that, you know, companies now try harder to hit all the bingo check marks, or do you think, or do you think they're more
in a day and age where a lot of video games, and we've talked about this on a previous podcast, a lot of video games, they're determined to be good or bad before they even hit the shelves. And you have to hit any demographic you can within your reason to try and get as many people to buy it, because you know, if you don't do that as a video game developer, and I understand that on a marketing side, you want to be able to appeal to as many people as possible, but at the same time there is this kind of withdrawal from it, this it almost de-immerses you from the game to a point where it seems blatant, like unnecessary.
Yeah, I think some developers handle it better than others. There's definitely some games where it seems forced. For example, if there's like a game, I think even like in Red Dead, like most cowboys were not white.
No.
But like you've got Red Dead, it's like they're all mostly white.
Yeah.
And like that's like the whole like American type of fictional like Wild West thing, but you do see other races for sure, but it's just like all the protagonists.
Yeah. Majority of them, which is interesting, and
which I don't think is necessarily bad. It's just like
it goes back to the times. I mean, most old cowboy films, my dad grew up on those, and I go back and watch like The Rifleman or Roadhouse or any of those, and it's
good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah, and it's like that. You have speckled like Hispanic or Latino or you have a very small demographic, but it's like that.
But they're like not typically the cowboys. They're like cowboys, but they're not like cowboys.
They're usually the people who they're the bad
But
guys.
I feel like with Red Dead Redemption 1 and 2, it's more of an
stylistic choice.
It's kind of like paying respect to the films more than anything.
So like the whole classic westerns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to
Not
be
necessarily
fair,
real life.
and
Even though it does borrow
the
a
thing
lot
is
from
though,
that.
yeah, those games don't claim to be historically accurate, or they're not claiming to like that's not
Yeah.
their claim to fame. They're more about telling a story. So
Yeah.
do you think that a lot of companies are crippled by this, trying to be politically correct and try to show diversity? Do you think that's crippling them from telling like a good story that they want to tell?
I think
If they're focusing so much on trying to get, all these bingo check marks in it, do you think that cripples them from telling the story?
I think from a marketing perspective and from a PR perspective, it can be a nightmare. At least from as a consumer looking at it, it's just like they verbally say like, oh, we have like so much representation, and we have like this character, and this character is gay, and this person is like Latino and Hispanic, or Latino and black. They're both, and it's just like. But then the game comes out, and it's like great that it has them, but it's like you didn't have to market it that way.
Yeah. A lot can be said about creative license, especially when it comes to those video games, because you almost wonder, if they're doing it just like you said, just on a marketing standpoint, right? And
But then you have like Naughty Dog, where it makes sense.
yeah. Well, they give purpose to it. There's a
Right.
difference. They include it in a storyline.
Because it's like if you set for example, if you set a story in Mexico and then they go to Canada, it's probably going to be mostly Hispanics and then mostly whites.
Yeah.
Like the people who live there.
Right.
And the story calls for it, like the setting and the everything. If it's more fictional, if it's like fantasy and stuff, you have more of a license to just do whatever you want.
Right.
Which is
And that's fine.
In a way, that's kind of lends to the success of it, is because they have less to deal with on that. I'd imagine
Right.
less friction on that side.
And I think stories that have a huge spectrum of races, where it makes sense, both in video games and in film and TV, can be hard to find. Where they have they hit like every race, but it's like they wouldn't typically be there in real life. It's just like, oh, we just have every race because we have it.
No, yeah. I mean, and it could be said that too, that like for instance, is on the game side of it, like let's take GTA 5 for example. On the video game side of it, when they use a race as a story point, like how Franklin's trying to just move on from being nobody into being what he was. I don't want to spoil much of the game for anyone who hasn't played, even though it's been out for a long time. But it seems like you said, certain games they just throw them in, and they don't give purpose to it. They don't give a premise for it. So.
And I think one other thing that can really injure story is when you have, let's say you have like one black character and they're a huge stereotype. It's just okay, write this character as a person, not as what you think this race is like. It's just like at its core, like every human character is a person. Start with that. And I feel like a lot of developers, especially like in action-y type games like Call of Duty and stuff, it's just like they have like this black stereotype. It is just like
the token black character that that loves barbecue
and curses and it's just like.
But on the other hand, it might be a stereotype, but sometimes you get it and it works. Like Cole from the Gears of War franchise.
Right.
One of people's favorites is Coal Train rolling through and mowing down people, and it works on a certain case, but
and also that game is like more over the top and like
so
it's like,
I was gonna say, if it works for the story, then
I guess that's kind of what it comes down to is as long as it works. But when you have that disassociation where it's like they're just thrown in to be thrown in.
I think again, it always comes down to the story and characters, and it's like, what story you're trying to tell, what do you need for that story?
So more of an example for you guys. So in the Nintendo game Punch-Out, in the there was a remastered release that came out
for Wii.
Yeah, for Wii a while ago. And in that game, each character that the main character fights, Little Mac, he fights all these characters from different parts of the world, and they're all like stereotypes of all of these different countries. Now, is it racist that they're making fun of all of these countries, or they're making fun of everyone, so if everyone's fair game, is
And
that
Little
okay?
Mac is U.S., right?
Yeah, and Little Mac is like a stereotype of the United States.
And that's the thing is,
And the thing is, it's made by Nintendo.
Yeah, a Japanese company.
A Japanese company made it, and they're making fun of the Japanese culture with Piston Hondo, or Piston Honda as he was formerly known as, but then there was a lawsuit about all that. But is it it's so basically it comes down to it's either all of it's okay or none of it's okay.
And that's a hard thing to say because in Japan, a lot of anime, when they do a stereotype, it's on a character based stance where they're not trying to be specifically racist towards that gender, that race, that ethnicity. Mm-hmm. They're portraying a character, and in Knockout, Punch Out.
Yeah, and they have like a lot of archetypes in like anime and stuff. It was just like, this is like the fat character who eats all the time, or this is like the black guy with big lips, which is pushing it a little bit. But
and in that
maybe
sense,
a lot.
They're just portraying a character, and that's where I kind of I don't find myself to be particular like when you mention like demographics and stuff. It's hard for me to think of a game that's specifically just white, stuff like that. Just because I don't notice stuff like that. Color all runs the same to me. But when you're in a video game, it just seems kind of, I don't know, it just seems kind of childish to try and pick something like that apart because it's a video game. You're portraying a character. You're making a fictitious character for your protagonist to fight, to overcome, to do whatever with. And
I actually have a question for the both of you. So along the same lines, like, do you think it's different in video games compared to film and TV? Like, what is allowed, like representation wise? Like,
well, for me, I think what ends up happening is that,
or how the audience reacts.
Yeah, I think what ends up happening is that it, kind of like what you said before. You kind of hit it on the head with studios coming up with the diversity bingo board, and I think Hollywood has, or media in itself has set up this kind of, they kind of set themselves up for failure because they want to be as diverse as possible, but the thing is that the more diverse they get, it becomes more and more opportunities for people to nitpick little things. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I don't really have a lot of things that I get offended by necessarily, because in the end, like, words are words. So
that's how you take them.
Yeah, words only have as much power as you give them. And so, with that being said, like, I do get offended by some things, but I don't let them affect me because, especially if it's like in a movie, like they're not like they're not attacking you directly, right? It's just the way that they decided to portray this certain character. Whether or not you agree with it or not, that's up to you. But the thing is, if I feel that, what, if it's something you don't agree with, don't consume it, don't watch it, right? Don't give your money to that, right? Mm-hmm. And if other people want to, that's their business. What they do with that, what they do on their other people's time, that's their business. But I think ultimately, I think Hollywood is kind of, or Hollywood, or just in general, the entertainment industry in general has kind of set itself up for failure on a lot of these projects because they try really hard to be the thing for everyone and try to make everyone involved. But the moment they try to make everyone involved, everyone that they're trying to reach out to, there's going to be a whole other group of people that don't feel included, and then they're going to get mad. Yeah. So it's like you can't please everyone. That's just kind of what it comes down to.
I think another, like, one issue for me, as I got older, like became a teenager and stuff, like a lot of, especially in Hollywood, it's just like all the main characters are typically white. If it's a lead, they're white. If it's a love interest, they're also white. And like, as Hispanic, I just saw that and I was like, well, where's the Hispanic like main character? Why does he always have to be like the guy making taco jokes in the corner? Like, why does the Indian guy always have to own like a 7-Eleven or something? Like,
well, you heard they're getting rid of Apu from The Simpsons.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh.
because after what 50 years of Simpsons being on air,
Which
all of a sudden
now people
Yeah.
are offended by Apu.
Which is funny considering, and that's kind of a prime example, really. He's the most successful of any of the characters. He runs and operates an honest business, and he's the one getting kicked out because people are offended about how he is portrayed as a character.
Yeah, and that's like a thing that's
Like-
very big right now. Like just people getting offended and having it actually affect the show.
Yeah, and that's what really is the problem.
Yeah,
is-
it's become less about being offended and having your own opinion to having your own opinion means you have power over
yeah.
Right.
over everything, which I wasn't raised that way. I was raised there's like everyone has their own opinion, and
It's
like,
their
like
opinion.
opinions aren't facts.
Right.
No.
And they shouldn't make fact. Like they shouldn't cause the show to change.
No.
Unless it's like really like obvious
Yeah,
and obviously insensitive.
Yeah, exactly. Unless it's inciting hate. That's
Yeah. Right.
that's my only. That's where I would draw the line. If Apu was saying, oh, we should kill X, Y, Z groups of people.
Yeah.
Then okay, that crosses the line. That's not okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like the only Indian character, and like then that would be like
Yeah, then that's not okay.
Yeah.
But if he's making like stereotypical jokes about like Indian people and all that stuff, it's like, okay, well the things of stereotypes are built off of observational fact.
and I
Yeah.
feel like comedy it's a little bit easier to do that. Like it's more acceptable.
Because it's seen in the light where it should be seen. It's in a comedic. They're making fun of it. It's in the sense
I heard
of that.
Yeah.
Like on the sense of we're staying on the Apu thing. Well, you've got so many other stereotypes that they make fun of. Mr. Burns is like the monopolizing
White guy.
white guy. You've got Flanders, his neighbor, who's the typical stereotype of a somebody who's a religious fanatic.
Like Bible thumper.
Yeah. And you got there's so many different stereotypes in there that it's almost doesn't make sense that this is the one that they stand their ground on when in a way he's doing the least harm to the entire
Right, yeah. He's
group.
probably the least offensive
Yeah.
of all of them.
Yeah.
So it's
But
one
like
of
going
those.
back to like the protagonists like typically being like most like
It's basically
famous actors
It's
are, like-
basically white male is the
right
main
for the most
antagonist,
part,
yeah.
and it's like anytime someone like tries to make like a female character, people are like either not as responsive or they criticize it.
right.
And that's not always the case. That's
No.
a generality. But I feel like in then when you do have representation and they're like, oh, we have representation, it's like minor characters or stereotypes or not written well characters.
Then that's not real representation.
right.
That's-
it's just like, oh, I just have this token.
those
character.
are just token characters.
Just like you said, the
So
bingo
yeah,
card.
because I don't have a problem with female leads. I think women can lead a story and it can be done well.
Yeah.
I think video games have done it better than movies. Like, there's so many video games that have come out
I was
recently.
gonna say
like Tomb Raider.
the Tomb Raider games that have come out have been really great, just because Lara Croft is such a great character.
Yeah, and then Overwatch, half the cast is female.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if we're talking about other like badass like female characters, Mikasa from Attack on Titan, she is a badass female character. There's a lot. I was gonna say just in that show alone, there's a lot of like gender diversity, and there's a lot of like diverse strong characters in the show that just because Lieutenant like Hanji, Mikasa, Historia, a lot of these the strong female characters. And the thing is though, like I have no problem with that at all. I think that's awesome. But I think the moment you try to build a story around a female lead for the sake of having a female lead, I think that cripples you, because then you focus so much on the fact that look, we have a female lead, and then you don't like focus on building the story at all. That's when it becomes an issue.
Yeah.
And I think, and I heard about this article that said that white male leads are poisonous to Hollywood. Now, would you guys agree with that, or do
I
you think
wouldn't.
that's not too far off?
I would say personally, I think they've become poisonous. That my personal opinion is that we have too many. It's just like oversaturated, and I'm tired of it personally. It's like bordering on not anger. It's just I'm really annoyed. I'm like want to see more diversity in leads.
Okay.
And There's a lot of stories where it makes sense, and I have nothing against white protagonists. Like sometimes it's a perfect choice, but other times it's just like
okay, so for
it's like the whole cast is Asian, and then you have this one white guy as the main character, and it's like he's white because he's the main character, and it's just like that's a little like too much. For my.
So what do you guys think? There was a lot of brouhaha about it a month or so ago. There's a lot of brouhaha about Idris Elba playing the new James Bond.
There's
What do you guys? You don't have a problem with that at all.
Like I said, my issue, and I'll kind of touch on like my problem, is that we're in a point now where Hollywood was mainly founded on a white male, like identifying with a lot of the early parts of Hollywood was white male dominated, and that was what I mean, that's what people paid to see. That's who had the money, and that's who the people wanted to see. And as we've gone through the years, it's obviously changed. We've gotten more diverse, and that's a great thing. When you have a character that you want to portray and you choose a different race, then like we've been saying, it has to at least have some context to the story. I don't have a problem with a black James Bond. I have a problem with a female James Bond if they make one. I mean, Atomic Blonde is the closest thing we've had, but I don't have a problem with it as long as it makes sense for the character. And that's my problem, is that people often criticize a character for being just that, the character. Have you ever seen the movie Suburbicon?
No.
Okay, well, in the movie Suburbicon, it takes place in the 50s, and it's very much a perspective movie. It shows the two perspectives of the time. A full white neighborhood, right? And it's all this, happy-go-lucky people, and then an African-American couple moves in the house. And throughout the movie, it jumps back and forth from the Matt Damon's perspective. It's like this: he's messing with the mob. He killed his wife so he could be with his wife's sister and commit insurance fraud. And you're seeing this all through the child's perspective. And then on the other side, you see how this African-American family, they're just trying to live their life, and everybody around them is being bigots and racist. And at the end of the movie, it's really sweet. I'll spoil it because most people won't see it. Yeah. Matt Damon dies. Everybody except the kids and everyone except for the white kid.
Oh, the ones who grew up together, like.
No. Oh. Well, at the end of the movie, since all these houses are kind of cookie cutter, the white kid and the black kid, throughout the movie, they just play catch with each other and talk with each other. And the ending scene is the white kid walks through his house. His uncle, his dad, his mom, his aunt, like everybody is dead to him. And he sees his neighbor just playing catch against his back wall. And he walks out, grabs his glove, and just starts playing catch with him. And I think it's a really sweet sentiment. And a lot of people had an offense to the movie, and they should, because, you can't talk about racism in movies. But in a sense, it shows the balance, how people go through crap all the time. And it doesn't matter what race you are. Yeah. You go through crap all the same, and you cope with it all the same. And they're just playing catch with each other. Just something as simple as that. And that's my problem with Hollywood, is when you throw in a character and don't at least touch on like the reason he is that race, or the reason he is who he is, or you don't give a purpose to it. Like you said, Evan, it's like you're just throwing him in to throw him in. You're not giving us a reason for it.
Like when people like talk about Idris Elba, like it'd be great if he was James Bond.
He's a great actor.
But don't let your reason be like he's black.
Yeah.
People are like, why should he be a James Bond? Oh, because he's black. It's like
why can't he?
That's
be,
offensive.
It's like, I was gonna say he would be a great James Bond because he's a great actor.
Right. Yeah, he's a fantastic actor, and I
think focus on like casting people who are good for the role, not because they fit the mold that you want.
I feel like emphasizing the race in that situation is honestly more racist than not having.
Yeah, I almost feel like
because you're just emphasizing and pointing out that he's black. It's like, well, focus, like you said, focus on his acting ability.
Yeah. And Idris Elba is probably one of the best actors in Hollywood right now. Yeah. So I would love if he played James Bond. I think that'd be really cool.
But
I think people are just afraid of change. I think that's I think that also comes into that
entirely.
But that being said, there is a great bit by Trevor Noah on like Idris Elba, and like if he was black, about like, you should look it up. It's really funny.
I'm a big fan of Trevor Noah, but
his stand-up is great. His political stuff is like a whole nother thing than his like stand-up.
The problem I have with him is a lot of his political stuff trickles into his stand-up stuff sometimes. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that.
I think a thing that would fix it and a thing that would solve it is if companies stop listening to their audience. Because so often, like, we haven't even seen this movie with Idris Elba as a James Bond, and people already saying it's gonna, like, leave it alone. Wait till the movie comes out and watch it.
It hasn't even been confirmed, and you guys are like hating.
I know that's the other thing. It hasn't even been confirmed. It was an idea that someone had, and everyone lost their mind.
And that's the thing is, like, when companies start bending their knee to what a small majority keep complaining about,
small vocal.
that's how you end up with Apu being kicked out of The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Like, if Fox was just like, he's a character, deal with him, or don't watch us. But that's the thing is, they're so scared to say don't don't watch us.
What do you guys? Okay, so another part of diversity is like gender diversity, and we've touched upon how most leading roles now are white males. I personally like. I kind of touched on this a little bit before. I don't mind the idea of like female leads. They've like the Marvel Cinematic Universe has teased a Black Widow movie for years, and I'm waiting for that. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah.
And
we have a Captain Marvel one. We have
Captain Marvel that's coming out. That's coming out on International Women's Day, by the way, which I think that's cool. But kind of like what we've been saying before, don't do it just for the sake of doing it. Do it and like build a good story around it. And I think don't make a woman the lead just to make the woman the lead.
Yeah.
Because then you kind of set yourself up for failure. Because if you make the woman the lead and then the story sucks.
Because of that.
Because of that. Not because of the woman lead. If it sucks because of the story, then you can twist it around and say like, well, it failed because of the patriarchy. Well, it's like, well, no, not necessarily. You put all this money into this movie,
and it was a bad movie,
and made this female actress the lead. The story sucked.
Yeah, you should have made a good movie.
Yeah,
you can't blame it on her.
It's like you make a good story, then you cast the right person for it, and then but a good example, Wonder Woman. That was a great story. That was a great like woman lead movie, and
it made sense.
And it did well. But the moment you throw in a female lead and just for the sake of doing it, and it doesn't do well, you can't account that to the fact that it was a female lead. You can't. That's not fair.
I mean, there's definitely some instances where that could have been the case, but more often than not, it was just a bad movie. Yeah. I just happened to have a female lead.
I have a lot of friends who talk about all of these female actresses that they love and they think are like amazing, and so it's hard for me to imagine that a movie with them being the lead,
right? Like
that it doesn't do well. It's because men hate women. That's not the case.
That's just probably like one out of every like million movies. Like it's probably like basically non-existent.
I was gonna say, Pretty Woman. She was a female lead. That movie did really well. Yeah, okay, it was a romantic comedy, but still, it's
doesn't eschew it from like being any other kind of movie. Do you remember the movie Sucker Punch?
Yeah,
dude.
People hated that movie before it even hit the theaters. I went and saw it, and it was a great psychological movie, good story.
I saw it after. I honestly really liked that movie.
But like I keep saying, critics need to go away. We need to get rid of this. We need to get rid of this preview style. Like everyone wants things before it actually happens, and then it won't. No,
because we live in like a microwave.
Exactly.
The microwave generation where we want it now.
It's like you read the packet, you put it in the microwave, it starts like cooking, and then you're like, I don't want it anymore.
It took too long.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny because I am a reviewer and I review stuff. So it's like when you say reviewers go away, and we do that too.
We review things.
We do that too. But it's just like there's just sometimes like this elitist like. Mentality, or not necessarily elitist, but like this, it can be very toxic. I think where people are just toxic. Like and it's like almost some critics have almost like a very arbitrary way of leaning. It's just like all of a sudden we love movies about this, or we hate movies about this, but next year we hate movies about that.
And it's just Teen Titans Go is a great movie.
And that's the thing, though. A lot of it's perspective. People are going to pay to go see a movie, and how many people pay is just dependent on who it catches.
Yeah.
And it's annoying to see movies that come under these giant franchises like Disney right now is on the cusp of a monopoly on many levels. And it's it's okay to understand that the reason they're doing so well is because they do make good movies. and that's attributed because they have a budget that has no ceiling.
Yeah.
But the simple fact that a movie is good because of the name that's behind it is kind of silly.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of these smaller movies they sink more often than swim, and the small ones like A Quiet Place or Get Out or stuff like that are such standouts because you can tell a good movie regardless of the budget, regardless who makes it, and when people go and see it, they enjoy it for the movie. People like Get Out because it was a fantastic movie.
People
all
like
the
Quiet
semantics
Place because it was a great movie.
Yeah.
It was because it was great storytelling.
Yeah,
exactly.
Not because it had Emily Blunt and John Krasinski in it.
Yeah.
Right. Those were just pluses. They're both really great actors.
Exactly. And that's my problem is that so many people complain about stuff before it even happens or before they even see it when they don't even know what it's about. And my dad has a great quote is whenever I nitpick something and I say they should do this, he says, then do it. And that's my complaint. Is people need to stop making opinions and actually do the things that they want. Make a game with a black protagonist if you want a black protagonist. Make a game with a white guy, an Asian guy, whoever you want it to be.
I was literally building up to waiting to say that. I was just like, yes, be the change you want to see. Like, if you want to see more Hispanic characters, go and write the story. Go be a filmmaker. Go do this.
Popped. I don't know why. That was so weird.
The truth was told. No, but it's like
I actually had a similar experience like that. When I was in high school, I was going through and I had a serious phase like when I was younger of just like writing comics and like telling stories and stuff like that. And I realized there's not a lot of Hispanic superheroes. Like there was not. There's Miles Morales, but Miles Morales wasn't made. Yeah, but he wasn't made at the time.
Right.
No.
And I'd gone through the lexicon, and there may be like one or two, but like no one had ever heard of them. So I remember, like you said, like it's like do it. I made a comic book about a Hispanic young protagonist, and gave him his own powers, gave him his own all that stuff, and it was something that was mine and that I did, and I think that's such a true statement because a lot of these people complaining about like, oh well, why don't we have this? It's like, well, do it then. And like if it's something obviously if it's something that you can do, obviously, right? Like
anyone can do anything they put their mind to,
right? I mean, the thing is like anyone can criticize something and complain. Not everyone can create.
Yeah, that's
but the creating part is so much more important.
But here's the thing:
anyone could just say
you don't
whatever.
even have to create to be like. If you want something and you see somebody is doing it, support it.
Yeah, be a producer.
Right.
Like fun.
There's so many comics now that are coming out, and it's great to see that so many more people are getting into this. Like, the fiction genre as a whole is like completely eclipsed from what it used to be. And
with like Kickstarter and Indiegogo and Patreon,
there's no excuse.
Yeah, you can
find and fund whatever you want, and instead of complaining.
Yeah,
you will live your life complaining about stuff until the day you die, and you will do nothing about it, and nothing will change. Or you could change, like Nathanael said, and
stop. It's like don't cry for the foolish. You'll be crying all day.
So I think the biggest problem with representation is not the representation itself. No. It's everyone whining.
Yeah,
like stop complaining and like go create.
Yeah,
go make some productive creation. Like
dang.
Just don't hate on stuff. Like that doesn't help anyone.
No.
Like even me like saying like I'm
gonna need some ketchup for those truth browns you're throwing down, man.
Like everyone, like even me like complaining about like too much white like protagonist. Like I could like create a story with a white protagonist, and I probably will, and I have. It's just like it's not a bad thing. It's just like go create a story, and if people don't like it, just keep creating. There are people who.
I was gonna say there are more people. We wrote a screenplay with a white father protagonist.
Right. It's like a. Oh, man, I've totally lost my train of thought. But there are probably more people that love what you did than the people who hate it.
Yeah.
They're probably a very small minority who are hating on it, but they're very vocal.
Take us for example. We're doing this podcast because we love to do it and because we enjoy doing it, not because we're thinking about all the people who have not heard us yet and thinking they're against us.
Right.
You're gonna like what you're gonna like, and you're gonna listen to us, and we hope you do listen to us.
Yeah,
more.
Absolutely. Yeah. See, that's been my thing. Like, I want to make content. Like, I've wanted to make content that can reach a bunch of different people, like on an emotional level and more kind of like an intellectual level. Like, because the thing is that we're not strictly like a video game channel. We're not strictly a movie channel. I want to try to touch on a bunch of different things. Yeah.
But also, like,
but at the same time, if you don't like listening to us, you don't have to listen to us. Yeah. Sorry. Actually, no, not sorry. You just go ahead and do what what you want to do. You don't have to listen to us.
And we don't even mean that in an offensive way.
No.
It's
just like we love doing this.
Yeah.
That's
the core of it.
And
we love doing
like
this.
for me, it's more coming at it from the stance of like, don't waste your time here if you don't like listening to this.
Because we want whoever to listen to us that genuinely like us to genuinely like us. If you don't care for what we're saying, or if you are interested in something else,
go spend your time doing something more productive.
Exactly. you can do whatever you're free to do. And
I think you could apply that to like all media. Like people get very hung up on something.
Yeah,
and
I was gonna say people spending so much time hating this one thing could be way more productive.
They could go somewhere else and love something else.
Yeah.
Even if it's something that someone else would hate.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
There's stuff for everyone to love.
Yeah. So I think overall, I think this has been a very like productive conversation. I think we've covered a lot of things, and we've gotten a lot of our thoughts out there, and a lot of people will probably disagree with some of the things we say, but you know what? As we said, like, you know,
it's an opinion.
Who cares? Yeah, it's an opinion. Who cares?
Just be passionate about something and do it. And if people don't respond too negatively or are just indifferent, it doesn't matter. If you're passionate about it and you're doing it, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm. As my dad told me, and I think this is a phrase that's pretty well known, but it's just like, do something you love so that you never spend a day working in your life.
Yep.
So it's like if you find something that you feel needs to be done, do it. And then, you know,
if you can make money on it, that's amazing. If you don't make money on it,
you still got to do something that you love doing.
Right. Exactly.
Right. So
there you go.
So again, we do this for fun. This is a hobby that we do. But if you want to support us and you want to follow us, we have a Twitter and we have a Facebook that you can follow us on. Our email is nerdingoutpodcast@gmail.com. Email us ideas, email us your feedback. We want to hear it. We also recently just got on Spotify. It's under the same name. Follow us on there. All our episodes are there to download. iTunes as well. YouTube. We're on all the platforms. Yeah, I know. We're herpes. We go everywhere. Twice a year.
Just wait for the Alexa and microwave versions.
I know.
Those are coming shortly.
Alexa,
it's gonna be ported to everything.
Alexa, play Nerdin' Out episode 38.
It's like
soon to be on the Nuclear Luma, the Walkman cassette player, the Maytag
the
2-in-1 washer,
the calculator,
and the Linux.
You can even get tattoos of Nerd. No, so
we have Nerdin' Out stickers.
We do.
We do.
If you want a sticker,
you email us.
We'll give you stickers.
Oh, we'll give you some stickers, all right.
Yeah, my beautiful fiance supplied us with stickers. Thank you, Lotta. I love you. But yeah, so thank you again so much for listening to this silly thing that we do. We will catch you guys next time. My name is Evan.
I'm Nathanael.
I have been David,
and we will talk to you later. Has been since he has since changed since the beginning.
Thanks for joining us.
All right, bye-bye. Merry Christmas /
Happy Hanukkah.
Yeah, holidays.
Kwanzaa.
Hail Hydra.
This is the Nerdin' Out crew. This is just a short little message at the end of this episode, just to let you guys know that this will be the last episode of this year, or last real episode of this year.
Yeah, last numbered episode.
We will be going on a short, very brief hiatus just for the holidays, just to recharge our batteries and just to enjoy time with our families. And I will be getting married, probably. That'll be another thing.
What do you mean, probably?
I mean, I don't know. I can't tell the future. Anyway.
Wow.
But we will come back next year, and we will be revamped, and hopefully, we'll have more things going on, like streams and stuff like that. And we appreciate you guys so much, even though it is just a small group of people. We can't believe
we can take over the government. Join us. Okay.
It's still so cool that those of you who do listen to us, like, take the time to listen to us.
Yeah.
Like, we're just some guys talking, and you guys, if you guys find joy in that or entertained, or like even we just get a rise out of you, I think that's just it's great.
And I also just want to take the time to thank Nathanael and David just for like coming on this journey with me. This was just a conversation that Nathanael and I had about a year ago.
Yeah, it's been a year.
Over a year. November 26th was the first episode that we like recorded and posted, and the first episode that we ever posted was on Facebook. And it was as a video, so like if anyone wanted to listen to it, they'd have to keep the video open the entire time. Oh, times have changed. But yeah, the first episode we posted on Podbean was on January 5th, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and then we just haven't looked back, and we've been at this for a year already, which feels like super crazy. And again, I just want to thank you guys so much for listening to us. You like Nathanael said, you guys don't have to listen to us either, but
No, you do. You're contractually obligated to listen to us from now on.
But yeah, going forward, we'll have more fun things planned for you guys, and it'll be a good time. You guys might see like a format change when it comes to like the style of the episodes and how they're put together and everything, but that's only because we'll be getting new equipment, and we'll be sounding very crisp, very smoother, and it'll be a good time.
And
David has a little bit of a treat for you.
oh yeah. So So I know everyone wants to know how much do we record on these podcasts? Like, does it just start and then stop, and everything you hear is what? No, not quite. Some things don't make the cut. So I've pitched the idea of doing the trash cast. We're gonna cut together all the unused stories, unused bits, unused garbage.
We're gonna hire an a cappella group to sing Trash Cast.
Yep.
No, that's not
No.
And a mariachi band.
the Trash Cast. Mi amor, the Trash Cast.
Yeah, and
So we're gonna be making. I don't know. What do you think? One or two?
I think
probably
ju-
enough for
I think just
one.
one. I
Maybe
think
just one,
I
we'll
think it's
see.
enough for like 1 hour one with just like a bunch of randomness in it. And I think
But
that'll
that'll
work
be
out.
fun. Hopefully you enjoy that. We'll
Yeah.
try not to put anything too offensive in there, but
Or all of the
if you've
offense.
listened to our podcast, all the offense, just
all
call
of the
out.
fences,
All of the fences,
including the
Is it-
border wall.
I was gonna say, is it white picket fence or is it
Border wall.
Why's it gotta be white?
Build the wall.
What? Why's it got to be white? Oh my god! There's a quick taste of what most of it will sound like.
Because it's cheaper. What?
Whoa, wait, what?
Whoa. So expect more of that in the middle of.
I don't know.
fine month
Maybe
of
we'll
December.
call it the White
Yeah,
Trash
we'll-
Cast
and-
podcast.
And here's the best part: we won't tell you when it's going to be dropping in December.
No.
We'll just drop it like we'll drop it like salt. We'll just drop it like Salt Bay.
Yeah, just over the elbow.
It,
Drop
it,
it like
it
it's
might
hot.
be on our what has become our more usual release date, Wednesday, or it might be on a Thursday or a Tuesday. Everyone's least favorite day. That's my least favorite. I hate
Monday.
Might post it
I hate,
every day.
I hate Tuesdays, but
You got Tuesdays.
Tuesdays are it's an awkward day. Because here's my thing. Everyone hates Mondays because it's the first day of the work week, right?
Yes.
Wednesday is the middle of the week, so it's just like like middle of the week, halfway through.
Yeah.
Thursday is the day before Friday. That's the day. You're making plans for Friday, right? Friday. That's like last day of work, party day. Then Saturday, obviously. So your first day off, the first day with no work of the week,
Yep.
and Sunday is a recharge day. It's the day I go to church. It's a good day, and then Monday starts. Tuesday is the awkward day where it's just like it's day after Monday, but it's not in the middle of the week, and it just sucks. And
We know
I
how
hate
we
Tuesday.
fix that. We make
Get rid
Monday-
of Tuesday. Go ahead.
We make one day part of the weekend, so it's Saturday, Sunday, Monday's your
Well, no,
weekend.
because then
and
you have the
work
problem.
4 days.
Then you have the problem with Wednesday, and then
No, but
Wednesday,
then Tuesday will have the purpose. It's because now Tuesday is garbage day. It's terrible. It's
Yeah,
the
but
Monday.
Tuesday is just like that awkward sibling that doesn't know what to do with himself. It just kind of has an identity issue. We still love him, but
Tuesday
do we
is
really?
Tuesday is the special cousin who sits in the corner and plays with himself. That's just what Tuesday is, and everyone just ignores him.
okay.
Like he's there and he's part of the family, so it's just like you put up with him.
Yeah.
But
I hope he's playing
no
with
one
the toy
really
train,
wants him
so-
there. No one ever really wants him there at the function. You know what I mean?
But it's you're kind of obligated to have him. He's
Yeah.
just part of the family.
Yeah.
So
He just
Good
happens-
old Tuesday.
screw you,
Okay.
Tuesday.
Okay, you know what? It's official. We're releasing it on a Tuesday. On a
single
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Oh, man, that's perfect.
On a Tuesday of December.
Yes. Well,
Tuesday Trash Cast. All right.
With that all being said, thank you again so much for listening to us.
Thank you very
for
much.
the last time, we will be signing out for this year of 2018.
Thank you very
So
much.
not for
guys.
the last time, but for
Yes.
the last
We will-
year's time.
This will
We
be the
will see you
last,
next year. Again, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, all that crap, and Happy New Year's. And go spend holidays with loved ones and family.
And lots of alcohol. Not too much, though.
You know
so
what
much.
my New Year's resolution is going to be?
What
Buy a Bevmo.
What? Buy a Bevmo?
is it?
Buy an entire Bevmo.
Is it switch to the master race of PS4 and get rid of your crappy?
What is it? Tell
Xbox
us.
One.
What?
My resolution for this next year is going to be both get 2 more of these, but also
He's holding up a Yeti microphone.
next year, for sure, we are streaming on Twitch. Period.
That will happen.
Awesome.
Until next time.
Get out of here.
Bye.